Interested in a delicious variety of food, quick to prepare, very budget friendly, no waste, and helps you avoid the supermarket spending traps? Come on, Savvy ones, let's talk shopping.
Shopaholic Jo Munro, she's the best in the business.
Recently, we've been talking about outsmarting the supermarkets, and we've covered a few principles like making a list of food, doing more cooking at home, not blowing your budget for lots of different herbs and spices and additives to every recipe that you make. Reducing waste. You don't want to be throwing out half your budget in the rubbish bin every week. So today I thought we'd compare Everyplate and Dinnerly, both the most economical meal delivery kits. So let's put them to the test. So today I thought we would compare budget meal kit delivery services. These are different to pre-made meal services like Light and Easy. A meal kit delivery service fundamentally has all of the ingredients in the box with the recipe, the fruit, the vegetable, the salads, the spices and herbs, and the meat or cheese or any other ingredients you need to make the delicious recipes you've chosen for that week. Everything you need comes in the perfect portion delivered in the box. And all you need to do is follow a few easy steps to have home-cooked meals every night of the week. The great thing is there is no wastage with these boxes. They come with the exact amount of ingredients you need to make every recipe and no waste. That's really bad news for your compost bin, but really great news for your wallet. So talking about meal kits, fresh food made at home in a few simple steps. You don't have to be a chef. In fact, whether you're a starting out cook or you're actually an accomplished cook, these recipes have some really great ideas. I am quite a good cook and I have every kitchen gadget known to mankind, part of being a shopaholic. And I've got to say, I picked up some amazing tips and tricks by cooking with Everyplate and with Dinnerly. One of the benefits is you only get the ingredients that you need and they're delivered to your door, no having to go to the supermarket. So both Everyplate and Dinnerly come with a vast array of menu options. I did notice Dinnerly seemed to have more items on their menu, and they did seem to be a little broader as far as sort of international cuisine. So a little bit more daring cuisine. They have menu options for every type of eater. If you're vegetarian, if you're pescatarian, if you're low gluten, if you're low carb, there are some great low carb options. And there's other things that they've got included that are kind of fun, like comfort food or kid-friendly food. Now, your kids may eat a variety of food, but if there's those fussy ones, there's an option there for them too. Whether you're a traditional style eater or you're a little bit more adventurous, there are options on the menu to satisfy everybody. So for the purposes of this comparison, I ordered 2 weeks of food. One from Dinnerly, 2 weeks, one from Everyplate for 2 weeks. So for the first week, I chose options that I would prefer. I ordered 3 days, 2 servings each. The second week, I just randomly selected food. So I didn't let my own food bias get in the way of which service I preferred. So let's talk packaging. It's much of a muchness. They're quite comparable. Dinnerly came with the meat with one big freezer pack, wrapped up in a freezer bag, and the fruit and vegetable were in the box. The thing I noticed and I quite liked was the, sweet potatoes and the pears and the whatever were in the box. They were secure, but they weren't over-wrapped or over-manufactured where you often see that in the supermarkets. I like the fact that they were in the box, they were well-packed, but they weren't overly, glad wrapped. The Everyplate box came with a couple of little freezer liquid bricks, which were great. I've got to say I really preferred that packaging because it's really easy to reuse. And I do have those freezer packs in my fridge right now. And the other thing I love is the little sachets in little branded satchels. So it's really easy when you're compiling the ingredient and it's all pretty clear. One of the things that I preferred from Everyplate that Dinnerly didn't do was I did prefer that Everyplate came with a big recipe card and it's really easy to use when you're cooking. With Dinnerly, I didn't get the recipe card in the box. You do have the option on their website to print it. Because I didn't get the recipe card, I actually used my phone, which turned out to be not so great because when you're cooking, your fingers are getting yucky. Overall, it's a small thing, but I would prefer to have the recipe card included. Would it change me ordering from Dinnerly to Everyplate? Probably not, but I did love the convenience of that. And also I'm saving those recipe cards because, as I said, there are some really good recipes. So you order in advance and the box arrives And because you've paid, that's it. No more expense for your food budget. So it's a really great way of containing and knowing exactly what you're spending on your budget, as opposed to walking into the supermarket and coming out with an extra $50 you weren't expecting. So it's quite economical. They both claim to be under $5 a plate, but just to be mindful that the minimum order really is 3 days with 2 servings or 2 plates each. So that's kind of 6 meals as a minimum. And you can get, I think, 6 days a week. And of course, you can always order more. You can get 4 plates or 6 plates or whatever you want, but just on the minimum. So you don't think you can order 1 or 2 meals. You need to order 2 servings 3 times a week, which is the minimum order. And I've got to say, it was really easy. It was really economical and really delicious. So it's not like you're going to not want to eat the same thing. So another comparison between Everyplate and Dinnerly is that I say everything's in the box. Most things are in the box. So on the recipe card, it tells you what you need to make the meal. However, there are a couple of pantry items that you contribute. So it might be olive oil or vegetable oil, or it might be butter or salt and pepper. They're just some basic things that the pantry items, meaning that you already have them in your pantry. The thing I noticed was Dinnerly asked for a bit more elevated items for these pantry items. So it wasn't just it asked for vinegar, it asked for red wine vinegar or white wine vinegar. So a little bit elevated, and would probably be something that most people would have to go and buy if they're not cooks. So I'm a cook, so I actually already had them. But just to be aware, the pantry items might be an area that you need to buy. So check that out when you're putting your order in to see what the pantry items are. And the other thing it does, which is great, is it'll say you need a frying pan and a vegetable knife and a medium saucepan of boiling water, so you know what sort of tools that you'll need for the recipe. So as I said, the recipe cards I found from Everyplate to be fantastic. Dinnerly, I did the digital option and it was a bit annoying. Comparing Dinnerly's menu with Everyplate's menu, I think the options were far broader with Dinnerly. So comparing Everyplate and Dinnerly's menu options, what you could select each week, I know Dinnerly say they have over 50 options every week, and Everyplate has just over 25. I didn't find that a problem. The options are still all fantastic. So choosing 3 meals from 25 or from 50. The only thing with Dinnerly is they do have a lot more international style food, a little bit more exotic. It was a bit more of an expanded menu. So when I first started using meal replacement kits, it was for a couple of reasons. One was I was really busy and absolutely frantic, and thought just knocking out fresh meals in 4 easy steps sounded like a good idea. The other reason was, and I really couldn't believe it, that how tasty the meals were for the price. It was incredibly economical. So the other benefit of a meal delivery kit is it's delivered to your door. No temptation at the supermarket. The other thing that was appealing with the meal kit was you still have the variety and surprise of things that you probably normally wouldn't cook for yourself at home. So it feels like the benefits of takeaway, but with all the fabulous side of cooking at home, fresh, tasty, immediate, and then you're controlling the ingredients. But so first week, I ordered things I would normally eat. Second week, I ordered surprise items that I probably wouldn't normally eat. And it was fantastic. It was a bit of an adventure to the taste buds. So something like fish, I don't normally cook at home. I find it a little bit more complex than I'm wanting to do. But these came with the recipe cards in the perfect way, portioned out with the amount of timing that you needed and the right ingredients to treat them. So I did order some fish and it was the best. So I've got to say, in the future when I'm wanting to add more fish to my diet, I definitely will be doing it through the meal kits, because I just found the things that I hated about cooking fish before, those excuses were taken away by receiving the perfect portion with the right recipe and all the ingredients that go with it. Another benefit from using the meal kit that was unexpected was getting some great recipes that I actually will use whether I'm ordering a meal kit or not. One of the ideas, great idea, was schnitzel. I love schnitzel, but they're not necessarily that great for you. But this treatment was fantastic. So getting whether it's the chicken tenders or the chicken breast, and either slicing it very thinly or beating the living daylights out of it so it's very thin. The idea with this recipe, which was fantastic, was just to paint the top of it with pesto and then press the panko crumbs in and either air fry it or put it in the oven. And it was delicious. And it was all the benefits of schnitzel without all the extra fatty side of it. And of course, the pesto just made it a delight. So whether you're an accomplished cook or you are just getting started, these recipes are really good, and they've been made really simple. Another comparison item, with Dinnerly you have the option when the box will be delivered, and that determines when you order. With Everyplate, you order on a Tuesday and it's delivered on the Saturday night, overnight. So when you wake up Sunday morning, the box has arrived. I didn't mind either way. I wasn't fussed about when it arrived. If you want something specific, then Dinnerly's probably the better option for you. So how did the comparison shape up? Dinnerly certainly has 50 plus menu options, which is broader and more flexible delivery times. Everyplate, I love that it arrives with a recipe card. And I love that the pantry items are quite minimal. So it's really, you get most of what you need in the box. I like the flexibility of that. But all in all, the budget meal delivery kits are fantastic. They're pretty close. The food is great. It's high quality. The recipe cards are very easy to follow, 4 or 5 steps. And the price is really good value for what you get. If you were replacing these items with takeaway, I think these are probably half price to compare what takeaway is. One of my options was chicken gyro. Now, I do live in Melbourne, so I do know traditional Greek gyro. This isn't, but it's pretty close. It was delicious, and at $5 a plate, you can't complain. So all in all, I think it was a successful comparison. I would highly recommend adding a meal delivery kit to your repertoire to outsmart the supermarkets. And until then, remember the shopping club rules. Never go shopping hungry. Never, ever fall for a spending trap, and stay savvy.